The greatest rivalry between two of the most talented players in football history, Messi and Ronaldo, was told for years through their club jerseys. Barcelona against Real Madrid, Champions League nights, Ballon d'Or races, broken records, hundreds of goals. But the most intense side of the Messi and Ronaldo rivalry was not actually written in club football. The real story was written in the national team jersey. Because in club football, there was always a way back after a lost match. There was always another season. There was always another Champions League night. But with the national team, chances were rare. If you missed a World Cup, you had to wait 4 years for the next one. If you lost a final, that pain did not belong only to the player, it belonged to the entire country. And for Messi and Ronaldo, the national team jersey was never just a jersey. One was the hope of Portugal, the other was the destiny of Argentina. But both of their stories began not with trophies, but with tears. Ronaldo's first great stage was Euro 2004. The tournament was held in Portugal. Young Ronaldo was stepping into the lights of a major tournament in his own country, in front of his own people. He was still at the beginning of his career, but every time he stepped onto the pitch, everyone felt the same thing. This kid was no ordinary player. Portugal reached the final. Their opponent was Greece. On paper, Portugal was the favorite. The stadium was ready, the country was ready. Ronaldo was ready. But in football, the greatest stories do not always begin with victory. Portugal lost. Ronaldo cried on the pitch. That moment was not just a lost final, it was the beginning of Ronaldo's national team destiny. Messi's first World Cup story began with a completely different kind of silence. At the 2006 World Cup, he was still very young. He came onto the pitch against Serbia and Montenegro, scored a goal, made an assist, and showed everyone that he was the future of the Argentina national team. But then came the match against Germany. A quarter-final, a huge stage, a moment full of pressure, and Messi was on the bench. Argentina was eliminated. Messi did not even get into the game. One story began with tears in a final. The other began with a young player watching from the side as his team was knocked out. By the time the 2010 World Cup arrived, expectations were much higher. Ronaldo was the leader of Portugal. Messi was wearing the number 10 shirt in Maradona's Argentina. The football world expected both of them to take over the tournament. But the 2010 World Cup became a disappointment for both. Ronaldo scored only against North Korea. Portugal was eliminated by Spain in the round of 16. Messi finished the tournament without a single goal. Argentina suffered a heavy 4-0 defeat against Germany. And after that period, the criticism grew even louder. Could Ronaldo not carry Portugal on his own? Why was Messi not the same player for Argentina that he was for Barcelona? Why could the two best players in the world not bring the biggest trophy to their countries? At that time, these were some of the biggest questions in football. One of Ronaldo's most painful moments came at Euro 2012. He played brilliantly throughout the tournament. He scored important goals and carried Portugal to the semifinal. The opponent was Spain again. The match went to penalties. Ronaldo was waiting to take the final penalty. Everything seemed to be leading toward a heroic moment. But Portugal was eliminated before his turn came. So what is more painful? Missing a penalty? Or being eliminated from a major tournament without even getting the chance to take one? For Messi, the 2014 World Cup was both a peak and his deepest wound. He almost carried Argentina on his back. With his goals, his passes, and his football intelligence, he took his team all the way to the final. The opponent in the final was Germany. Messi had come closer than ever to the World Cup, but Germany's goal in extra time ended Argentina's dream. Messi was named the best player of the tournament, but nobody really talked about the award. Everyone remembered the moment when he missed the trophy by the smallest of margins. Here's a question for you. What do you think is the heaviest moment for a footballer? Losing a final or silently walking past the trophy while the hopes of an entire country are on your shoulders? Make sure to write your thoughts in the comments, because the most debated part of this rivalry starts right here. The years 2015 and 2016 were the darkest chapter of Messi's national team career. Argentina played back-to-back Copa America finals, but every time they came close to the trophy, they ran into Chile. In the 2016 final, the match went to penalties again. This time, Messi stepped up to the ball, one of the calmest players in the world, one of the most gifted left feet in football history. All of Argentina held its breath, and the ball went over. In that moment, I would not have wanted to be in Messi's place. After the match, he announced that he was leaving the national team. For me, it is over. That sentence became one of the coldest sentences in Argentine football history. But the cruelest irony of football happened that same summer. While Messi was leaving the national team, Ronaldo was walking toward the biggest dream of his life, the Euro 2016 final. Portugal against France. The final was being played in France. In front of Ronaldo, there was not just an opponent, there was also the host nation. But early in the match, he took a heavy hit. He tried to continue. His knee was bandaged. He tried one more time, but it did not work. Ronaldo left the pitch in tears. At first glance, it looked like another tragedy in his national team story, but this time, the story would take a different turn. Ronaldo went to the sideline, but he did not leave the final. He shouted to his teammates. He motivated them. He lived every second from the touchline as if he were a coach. At an extra time, Eder's goal came. Portugal became European champion. Ronaldo lifted the national team trophy he had waited so many years to win. Suddenly, the debate turned upside down. Messi had lost a final. Ronaldo had won a trophy, even though he had been injured in the final. That night, a new door opened in Ronaldo's story. If you enjoy deep football stories like this, do not forget to subscribe to the channel at this point in the video, because on the road to the World Cup, we will continue to tell not only the stories of the squads, but also the great stories behind those squads. While Ronaldo was moving forward, Messi's story was not over. In fact, maybe the real story was only just beginning. The 2018 World Cup brought a different kind of disappointment for both of them. Ronaldo scored an unforgettable hat trick against Spain. That free kick became one of the most iconic moments in World Cup history, but Portugal was eliminated by Uruguay. Messi scored a crucial goal against Nigeria and helped Argentina get out of the group, but in the round of 16, Argentina lost 4-3 against France. Both legends said goodbye to the tournament in the same round. Then Ronaldo won another trophy in the 2019 Nations League. Portugal defeated the Netherlands, and Ronaldo experienced his second major success with the national team. Messi, on the other hand, faced another disappointment at the 2019 Copa America. Argentina lost to Brazil. There were debates, a red card, and punishments. For him, the Argentina jersey meant pressure, not peace. But in 2021, everything changed. The Copa America was being played in Brazil. The final was at the Maracanã. The opponent was Brazil. In front of Messi, there was not only Neymar. There were lost finals, there were missed penalties, there were years of criticism. There were millions of people saying he cannot do it for Argentina. And this time, Argentina won. In that moment, Argentina did not just win a trophy. The weight on Messi's shoulders was finally lifted. The missing piece people had talked about for years was finally in place. But the biggest door still hadn't opened: the 2022 World Cup. This tournament felt like Messi's final great answer. Either the most perfect story in football history would be completed, or the World Cup would remain the only missing piece of his career. The tournament started badly. Argentina lost to Saudi Arabia. Suddenly, the whole world was shocked. Was Messi's final World Cup turning into a nightmare after the very first match? But great stories sometimes begin with a fall. Messi and Argentina bounced back against Mexico, then Australia, then the Netherlands, then Croatia, and in the final, the opponent was France. In front of Messi stood Mbappe, the biggest star of the new generation. It was as if football history had placed the old legend and the new legend face to face on the same night. Messi scored 2 goals. He made no mistake in the penalty shootout. Argentina won. After 36 years, the World Cup belonged to Argentina again, and Messi finally lifted that trophy. The career that had been called incomplete for years was completed that night. For Ronaldo, 2022 was a completely different story. He scored against Ghana and became the first player in history to score in 5 different World Cups. But as the tournament went on, his role on the pitch changed. He moved away from the starting 11. Portugal was eliminated by Morocco, and Ronaldo was crying as he left the pitch. The man who once pushed his team toward the title from the sideline at Euro 2016 was now saying goodbye to the World Cup in tears. And that is exactly what makes the Messi and Ronaldo rivalry so great. They both won, they both lost, they both cried for their countries, they both lifted trophies for their countries. But their stories never moved in the same direction at the same time. When Ronaldo rose, Messi fell. When Messi won, Ronaldo lost. And now, the 2026 chapter stands in front of us. The World Cup that will open in North America will not be an ordinary tournament. This could be the final chance for these legends. Messi now arrives as a world champion. It looks like he has nothing left to prove. But maybe that is exactly what makes Messi so dangerous. A Messi who is free from the weight on his shoulders, calm, peaceful, and playing what may be his final tournament. Ronaldo, on the other hand, still arrives with the hunger to win. Despite his age, the criticism, the expectations, and everyone saying it is over now, I am sure he still wants to be there. Because in Ronaldo's story, there has never been a chapter called giving up. And if both of them appear on the 2026 stage one more time, this will not be just another tournament. This will be the final act of the greatest rivalry in football history. So, whose story do you think will be bigger in 2026? Messi's final chapter as a player who has already won the World Cup, or Ronaldo's chance to silence the whole world one more time? Write your side in the comments, Messi or Ronaldo? The beauty of this rivalry is that the answer has never been completely clear. Two superhuman talents, some people even called them aliens, but under the national team jersey, both of them became human. They lost, they fell, they cried, they were criticized, and in the end, both of them made history for their countries. Maybe that is why the Messi and Ronaldo rivalry cannot be explained only with the question, who is better? Because this rivalry was actually the battle of two different football characters against two different destinies. And when that great stage opens in 2026, the whole world will ask the same question one more time. What will these two legends show us for the last time? The answer will be given in North America.